Hi people. Hi people. Hi guys. Um yeah, I'm hoping the light is still enough for me to shoot this video real quick. So, welcome back to my videos and another sit down video. Yay! I really love doing these. So, I'm excited to dive in to what I'm going to be talking about today. I feel like I'm not sure again what I'm going to call this video just because it's so I want to talk about love and fear. Um choosing between choosing which will guide your decisions, but also I want to talk about fear when it comes to love. So when I was reading Conversations with God, I had this friend of mine who we were reading it with and who was so obsessed, and we would just really talk about it all the time. And there was a question that we used to ask each other. I don't know if I blogged about this or I talked about it in a video, I don't know, but would always be like when either of us had to make a choice, would be like love or fear, love or fear. So she, yeah, we'd ask each other that all the time. And Conversations with God talks about fear as the energy that contracts, that holds back, that, you know, pulls away, and love as the energy that opens up, that opens itself, that is welcoming and warm. And I can always tell in my mind. I'm getting better at it though. Sometimes I have made decisions in fear, not even realized it until I've made the decisions, and I'm like, oh shit, I was actually acting through fear, not through love. Like I said, it's not always simple to know when you're acting from love or fear, but with practice, you get to that point where you're like, actually, yeah, okay. Um, you can tell and you can stop bullshitting yourself, because sometimes when you're making a decision from fear, it looks so logical. And the thing with the ego is it's a very fearful part of us. And the ego is really good at games. It's really, really good at games and making itself look right and making itself look like it's making the good choices. The ego is very sly. So if you're not on your toes with it, then you can actually think you're doing the right thing for yourself. But then when you sit down with it and you bring awareness to it and you really look at it, you'll be able to see that actually you're running away from yourself. The last video that I talked about relationships on here was when I was saying how I didn't know what I wanted. I was quite confused about what I wanted, right? I think that was the last video I talked about relationships. I think so. Um, so I was in a very exploratory phase. It started towards the end of last year, around October, and into this year, probably until around April or the beginning of May, somewhere around there. And the thing is, I loved being in the place of not knowing what I wanted. And the beautiful thing is, when you don't know what you want, sometimes what happens is you start to figure out through experience what you don't want. And that's what happened. I ended up in situations and I was like, I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want that. And I know I don't want that. And I don't want that. So then that brought me clarity about what I want, because if I know what I don't want, then I can just look at the opposite and be like, yeah, maybe this is what I want. Yeah. Anyway, so what happened was I actually fell in love a couple of times, which is interesting, because I hadn't allowed myself to really fall in love ever since 2017, which is not really long ago. It's like 2 years ago. But what was interesting with these situations is I was in a place, you know how they say that you attract where, like, what you attract is where you're at. What you attract is where you're at. What you attract is where you're at. So I didn't know what I wanted, and so I feel like the people that I attracted were also a bit confused. And this is not a criticism, this is not judgment, because it's okay to be confused. Every one of us, we all go through seasons like that. I was confused, so it just made sense that people I attracted were also confused. But when I fell in love, this is the interesting thing. I don't want to be a girlfriend. And there are reasons for that. I don't, you see, I've tried to find a way to explain this, but I don't know how to. Because for me, the term girlfriend is almost like the term God. used to be. When I left the church, I couldn't stand the name God, which is why I started using Toti. Because for me, God had so many negative connotations to it. It was it had just like, the image was this guy in the sky with the clouds, with the beard and the fimbo, who's just going to beat you every time you make a wrong decision. So I couldn't connect the loving presence that I was feeling in my spirituality with that name. So I gave it up. Now I can use God without any problems. Maybe even with girlfriend, I'll get to a place where I'll be like, yeah, it's okay. But generally, I just don't like the name girlfriend. It makes me feel like, I don't want, I can't even imagine someone being like, this is my girlfriend. Like, and the reason for that is just because I feel like it has such weight to it. It's like, have you ever been in this situation? Maybe you are with a person of, maybe you and this person have been attracted to each other and you were friends for a long time, and then your attraction builds, and then you get to this place where you're like, okay, so you confess your feelings and you're like, so I don't know, do you want to give this a try? What are we? You have that conversation and you decide that you want to be in a relationship. But then the minute you say, okay, we're girlfriends or boyfriend and girlfriend and boyfriend, like once you put the label on it, then suddenly things change. It's like there are certain expectations. You're Nani's girlfriend. You can't be talking in corners with boys. You can't be seen walking on the road with someone who's not Nani. You can't be seen. You have to behave a certain way. When you're around me, you can't do this, you can't that. Like, all these expectations are suddenly put on you because of the fact that you put this label. So even for me, I'm just like, girlfriend comes with so many things. And because the last time I was a girlfriend, my God, I had so many things that I had to fulfill. There was like, my behavior had to be a certain way. I had to talk about, like, it was just crazy. So for me, girlfriend is just like, yeah, I don't have a use for you anymore, so I'm just going to put you in the corner there. I feel like if I was going to call myself anything, it would be the partner of someone. And I like that. There's a tweet that was like, someone was saying that they like the term partner because it's like, are we cowboys? Are we thieves? Are we robbers together? Are we business partners? Like, who knows? I love that because partner just feels like it's so open-ended. It doesn't have a strict, like, what's the word? A strict function. You can, there's room to decide what that means. And I just, oh God, I get so excited thinking about being in a situation with someone who I'm attracted to. There's a connection, there's an emotional and spiritual, all those, like we feel really connected to each other. And then we decide to just allow things to unfold and design this situation to whatever fits us. I love the idea of just being open-ended and not necessarily having to lock it down into a particular way, but just being like, what do you need? And me, this is what I need, and this is what I see, this is what I want for us, and then trying some things out and being like, maybe that doesn't work. Or, just like designing it authentically between two people or more, I don't know. But yeah, just like between two people, just figuring out what feels best for the both of us and allowing ourselves to discover that. So what happened with these two situations, out of respect for people, I won't give too much information because just because I decide to share my story doesn't mean that it's okay for me to share people's stories. Yeah. So I think in both these situations, there was a lot of fear that came up, which makes sense. Because when it comes to love, Jada said this in a Red Table Talk. I think it was Jada who said it. That love and fear are fraternal twins. And when love comes, fear comes as well. And I am not someone who believes that, I don't know if I will ever get to the place where I'm totally fearless. I don't think that's even a thing that I really care to be. What I care to be able to do is to look at the fear, feel it, look at it, acknowledge it, but not let it run my decisions. So in both situations, fear really came up. It was like intense. And the thing about not having awareness with fear, like the first situation, I wasn't in a very aware place because this is the first time that I had given I had felt like giving my heart to someone ever since, like properly, ever since that relationship that ended in 2017. So it was really scary. I couldn't even at some point see past my fear because I was just like, my God, this person is going to break my heart. He's going to break my heart. He's going to break my heart. Like I was so scared of it happening that I think I also freaked him out in the process. And it was just a very weird, confused journey with us. I feel on some level I do feel like we were not very compatible, but there was just such a crazy connection, and I feel like we probably would have been able to overcome some of our obstacles, but I think ultimately I think it ended the way it was supposed to end. But at the same time, yeah, it just I could see my fear really come up then. So when the second situation came along, and this second situation, I did not even see it coming. Like it was so out of the blue. I was just like, I can't even understand. Someone just came into my life from nowhere and just blew my life open. I was just like, I was so confused. And I think with that one, more fear came up again. So with the second situation, fear came up again. And this time it was different. It was a different kind of fear because the connection was pretty fast. And for that in itself was because I'm in a place where I want to build slowly. Like I want to take my time. I want to get to know a person. Like I just want to take my time. But this connection came instantly. It was like from the first day. So scared the shit out of me, but at the same time, because of the previous situation, I was trying to be very conscious with this fear. And I was really just trying to be like, okay, I'm feeling it. I don't want to make decisions from it. So let me sit with it. Let me allow it to be. So I really sat with my fear. I understood it. I watched it. I took responsibility for it. But the thing with the second situation was that I wasn't the only fearful person in the situation. And the other person was very protective of themselves. And to the point where I just did not have space to be able to explore things the way I would have wanted to, which is what I described before, like just being open and allowing a connection to flower into whatever it's going to be. I think this thing of being ruled by your fear can really hold you back from a lot of wonderful things. And I think it's okay to be in that space also, because sometimes you just have to, you're dealing with yourself. You haven't dealt with your pain yet, and it takes some time to get through your pain and to understand yourself. Sometimes even to understand that you don't have to carry this pain and you don't have to function from it is also a whole journey on its own. So I also like to respect where people are at, because I feel like wherever you're at is okay. I do feel like it would have been better. I'm sorry, there's some noise, I don't know where, and I'm really hoping that you guys are not hearing it. Anyway, it's like there's a crowd somewhere. Are you hearing it? It's so loud. God damn it. Anyway, so I understand that sometimes you're on a journey and you are where you are, and it just has to be what it is, and that's fine. But then what I love about especially that second situation is it brought me so much clarity about what it is that I want. And it had such a profound effect on me. I feel like that situation, it was short-lived. It was probably like a month and a half. But within it, I really got to understand what it is that I want in a connection with a person, what it is that I'm interested in a romantic relationship. And I realized that what I desire is to be able to have someone who we can work through things together. We can be open and communicate with each other and be like, you know what, I'm freaking out right now. In fact, this is a conversation I was having with my big sister, and she was saying the same thing. Like being able to be someone who can be like, listen, right now what's going on is that I'm freaking out. And I know that what I'm freaking out about isn't about this situation. It's about my past pain. But I want to work through this with you. So can we find a way to work through it together? Like, I would love that. Me, I'd be so down for it. Like, what can we do? How can we make you feel safe? What do you need? I love the idea of being able to communicate with someone in that way, to be able to be so authentic with them and to feel so safe, to be able to express my fears and for them to be able to express theirs. And then from there, not just express, but then we also work with each other to find out how we can help each other along. Yeah, I feel like, and after that second situation, it's so interesting how now I feel so different after that. That person literally, honestly, they changed something inside me, and it's because now I feel like I just want to focus on working on myself. I just want to focus on being the best version of myself. I want to focus on loving myself right, because I now know exactly. I feel like I had to go through that season of exploration to understand what I wanted in a relationship, so that I can then set that in motion. But then also then I can focus on myself, because I've realized that the person who I want to attract, the level of connection that I want to attract is a very high quality one, like a really conscious, high vibration, high awareness. Like, I really want it to be at a different level of maturity. And I feel like now what I want to do is work on myself to be able to be the person who can attract that kind of relationship. And I feel like I could attract it even now, but I just want to build myself more. I want to be better. I want to be a better version of me, for me, first of all. And then so that when I attract a person, it can be at that level. We wouldn't be dealing with this level of fear to the point where it's debilitating. I really want to be a person who is in awareness of herself to the point where I can look and be like, yes, this fear has come up, but I'm not going to, like, I want to be able to be able to discern very clearly when I'm in fear and when I'm in love, and to be able to act from love every single time. So that's where I'm at. I just feel like it's so strange. I don't want interactions with people of the romantic and sexual kind, which is so shocking to me, because I'm like, who is this person? Like, but I love that I get to discover these other parts of me, that now I actually just want to do things like make a home for myself, make a beautiful life, make a full life that's full of adventures and richness and other kinds of relationships. Like, I just want to build a very full, rich life for myself, for me. And then so that if and when I attract, not if, because I know I will, if I, see now, when I attract a person, they will also be coming into a life that's so full. It won't be a thing. I won't be meeting them in my deficit. I'll be meeting them in my abundance. Sorry, this noise is like super crazy loud. Anyway, I'll be meeting them in my abundance, in my fullness, rather than from emptiness, if that makes any sense. This video has gotten long, so let me see if I can wrap it up. So, the lesson for me here, come from love. Don't allow fear to express itself, but don't allow it to guide the choices. That's actually the place where I'm at right now. Yeah, so that's my update, my love update, I guess. And I'd be interested to know what you guys think about this. Also, are there people who have found ways to design relationships that are out of the labels? Was there anyone else who felt a need to do that, to step away from the labels of, girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriends, or boyfriends, wife, husband? Like, has anyone else felt that urge? And how's that experience like for you? Like, I'm just curious to know what you guys think about all the things that I've spoken about. There are several things in one video. So let me end it here, especially because it seems like that noise is getting louder. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. You can find me on social media, every single place, as Tarure Gatere. That's on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, above everybody else, you deserve your own unconditional love and acceptance. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.